When people ask me what I do, I tell them I'm a storyteller. My favorite story of all is the one I tell of these burn scars that starts when I was 24, when I decided to backpack across 3 countries, a 2-week glorious adventure, except one day was all it lasted. The last thing I remember in Cambodia was riding on the road, safe and sound, on my rented motorbike, and then my memory fades to black. I still don't remember what happened till this day, but apparently the traffic light turns green. I move my bike forwards. Out of nowhere, a massive car appears, hits me, knocks me off my bike, and drives off. I pick up my bike, and I give chase. The car brakes. I smash into the back. I fly head first. My head hits the back. I crack my left collarbone. I fracture my left thigh bone. I dislocate my knees. The motorbike explodes, and half my body is on fire. You could say Cambodia was pretty lit. 40 days later, I woke up in Singapore General Hospital, clueless how I got there. I had metal bars sticking out of my legs, third-degree burns all over my body, but I still kept my $1 million smile. People were relieved that I was recovering, but I was still struggling with a different kind of crisis. The quarter-life crisis is experienced by individuals in their 20s and their 30s. Now, it involves an anxiety over choosing what to prioritize, the quality of life or direction. Choosing to prioritize quality of life is to focus on getting 2 things, right? Good income, basic salary. And that usually requires people to, basically do what everyone else is doing. What that usually risks is a meaningless, mediocre life. On the other hand, prioritizing the direction of your life means to focus on one's reason for being, to follow one's values and convictions, to stay true to one's call. That usually leads to an uncertain, risky path less traveled. Now, the uncertainty and anxiety comes when you can't have both, when you have to choose one or the other. Now, this usually happens when you're choosing between university courses or perhaps the job with the better salary versus the one that brings meaning. This is especially so when we look at our social medias, right? And all we see is how everyone seems to have a perfect, amazing life. Everyone except us. What struck me in Cambodia was that if I took my last breath then, I'd wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. All I wanted to be was successful by world's definitions, but that meant that I would have failed myself. I realized I had a second chance in life to do things right. And this time, I was going to choose wisely. So if you're wondering, if I don't remember what happened, then how do I know what happened eventually? Well, this is it. My ex-neighbor from Brunei, he sees the Facebook post that I was missing. He gets worried, so he calls his brother holidaying in Australia, who remembers we have a mutual childhood friend working in Cambodia, who finds me in the hospital. That leads to my church pastor in Singapore to contact his New Zealander friend working in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, to visit me. This is what he sees on the computer screen. Jason Lim, death certificate. The doctor said it was a mistake, although I'm really not so sure about that. But that's another story for another time. Back in Cambodia, Craig goes back home and tells his colleagues about me. And one of them says, "No way." This is Dore pointing to the exact spot on that road he had seen me in flames that night. What are the odds that the sole witness that night in Cambodia, one in 16.5 million Cambodians, who just so happened to be my pastor's friend's colleague? My first question when I learned of all of this was, why? Why me? Why am I alive? Fun fact. Did you know a researcher actually crunched the number of the odds of us actually being alive? Well, it starts with mom and dad, whose one egg and one sperm came together and became you. If you think about it, yeah, you. If you think about it, they had parents too, and so on and so forth. The researcher came out with this answer. The odds of you being born as you is 1 in 10 to the power of 2.6 million. That is 10 with 2.6 million zeros behind. So I think the real question really is, why? Why you? Why are you alive? Here's how I found my clue. I joined a support group for survivors of traumatic accidents, and the lady is holding a book I wrote of my journey. Now, in this book, each of us signed our names and our signatures beside the dates of our accidents. This book was passed from one survivor to the next as a personal way of saying, you are not alone. You never have been, and you never will be. Our pain had a purpose. And that is the beautiful irony of how my death certificate gave birth to my pen name, TEDxYouth. You only live twice. This is a photo that we took of the Yoth tribe after we had served our time. We had volunteered at a rehabilitation hospital where we spread some Christmas cheer to some elderly patients. These are youths who willingly gave of their time and their energy without expecting anything in return. I saw how their faces were just beaming during and long after the event, and it wasn't just happiness, it was joy. Their joy gave me a deep sense of gratitude for I have found what I was put on earth to do, and that is to help others find their fulfillment. Here's a clue. You saw this random puzzle piece lying on the floor. Chances are you're not going to notice it, right? Unless it is part of a tapestry much grander than itself. A tapestry that is not complete without it. If this puzzle piece is priced at $1 billion, would you agree then that this piece could fetch thousands, if not millions? This piece is now greatly sought after because it has a place where it belongs, a place that only it can fill. Each one of us is like a puzzle piece. Each of us have our own unique personalities, passions, talents, and dreams. We are not meant to fill just any random spaces in the puzzle of this world. It's not like we're supposed to take up any random job that comes along or that degree course just because we got accepted in. Especially so that we are not meant to force ourselves to fit into the society's definition of success. You are special. You have a special purpose unique to your design. There's a hole in this world that only you can fill. There's this special quote The meaning of life is to find your gift. The work of life is to develop it. The purpose of life is to give it away. You know you found your purpose when your unique strengths are in line with the needs of your community, when your presence makes a difference in a way that only you can. You owe it to yourself to find that place and not settle for anything less. Here's what I learned. To get out of the quarter life crisis, this is where you need to be. Your place in the grandest tapestry of all, called life. This is my idea worth sharing. Find your place, fulfill your purpose, and finish your quarter life well lived. Thank you.